Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about setting smart goals. And SMART is not only just setting smart goals, so not dumb goals, but also what SMART stands for. So specific, measurable, achievable, recordable, and time related. So with those 5 points, how can we structure our goals to make them most effective? So SMART. First of all, they've got to be specific. Relate them to what you want to accomplish, to what you want to do. And you can set up multiple goals. You can do some based on your fitness and health, some based on the money you're making, some based on if you really want the people you sleep with, whatever it may be. Just set a goal that is for yourself and based on an action that you can take. So an actionable goal. So I want to post a video a day for a year. I want to move to Thailand by October. X, Y, and Z. So make it specific, make it achievable. I want to bench 4 plates for 180 kilos, 405 pounds, whatever you may think, by the age of 20. Sorted. So set a goal in your physical, in however much money you want to make, whatever aspect of your life that you want to improve, set a goal in it. So specific to that area of life, specific to what you want to achieve. So fitness. I want to be able to run a sub 20-minute 5K. That's my specific goal. Okay. Measurable. How can I measure my progress on this goal? Okay, let's say I want to run that sub 20-minute 5K. I can start taking time off every week. My aim is to, so take time off every week. I've got to take off X amount to reach it by this point in time. So that's all it is really. So you set once you've figured out the time aspect on how long scale this goal is going to be, maybe it could be 1 month, maybe it could be 6 months, maybe it could be a year or 10 years. However long it may be, then you've got to set the other things accordingly. So measurable, you're going to measure this progress if it's a 10-year goal, maybe you'll measure the progress every 6 months. If it's a 1-year goal, maybe you'll measure the progress every month or every 2 weeks. But if it's a monthly goal, you'll measure the progress every day. So you've got to measure it depending on kind of the time scale of the goal itself, and then you can look into, so I'm going to measure it every day because I want to achieve it in a month, and I've got to take away, to get that sub 20-minute 5K, I've got to take off 5 seconds every day for 30 days. And maybe that's what it is. Which adds up to, I believe, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah. So 2 minutes, 30 seconds over the time of a month. Would that get me below a 20-minute 5K? Yes or no? Do I have to take off more, less, etc., etc.? So you build on it and you build on it. Next, so you've got specific, we've got measurable, then we've got achievable. Is this goal actually achievable? Can you actually do it? And that's the thing. With practically every goal, yes, you can. But with a lot, you've just got to be realistic here. So, am I going to bench 180 kilos tomorrow? No. That's where the achievable bit comes in. Am I going to run a sub 20-minute 5K right now? Probably not. I could give it a damn good try, but I don't think I would. So you've got to set an achievable goal. How achievable is it? Is it something that's actually doable? Maybe in 10 years you want to be a millionaire. That's doable. You've got 10 years to do that. People do it in just a couple years. So you've got a lot of time. You've got plenty of time to achieve that. And then recordable is the next point here. And recordable is extremely, extremely important. So it's quite similar to measurable, but it's how over time you can kind of just, as you're recording it, so as you're measuring it, how can you measure the improvements that you're making? So by timing it. But then recordable is how can you record the improvements you've made? So with a 5K run, so I'd measure it by timing each run and seeing it by how much I'm improving. And then recording it, I'd write down those times, and over a few weeks, I'd see, okay, every week I take off the average of 20 seconds or something along those lines. And that's what you should kind of be pushing that recordable thing for. So you're keeping track of where you started and where you're coming to, and you can see how much progress you're making. This helps a lot with kind of motivation and seeing how far you've come, because I know a lot of people, they're going to be like, oh, I'm nowhere near the goal yet, I'm so upset. But if you look at how far you've come, it's going to make you feel a lot better. And the fact that you started at this point, which was maybe terrible, and now you're at this amazing point over here where you're still doing really well, but it's not quite at that goal level yet. And then we've got time. A time relatable goal. So is it going to be in 10 years? Is it going to be in 1 year? Is it going to be in 6 months? Is it going to be in a week? What is the goal? So it could be move out to Thailand by end of October, that's mine. Or, as I said, bench 180 kilos by the time I'm 20. That's another one. That's a bit long term. But this one, so I've got a daily goal, make 100 cold calls a day. That's my daily goal, my daily requirement. So it's very easy to kind of pick and choose what time scale you want it to be on. But I recommend that not only do you have the really little goals that can be done every day, every week, every month, but have a few big ones, have a few long-term, long-scale ones for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, which you can then track your progress on every few months or every year, and you can look at it and think, okay, how much closer am I to achieving this massive goal? And it should be a big goal. If it's 10 years, it should be a huge, huge goal. It should be almost unfathomable to your current self. Like, you should look at it and think, that's a lot right there. Because 10 years is such a massive amount of time that it's gonna be very, very kind of, you don't know what's going to happen in 10 years. So much could change, and you're going to be learning so much. So set the goal in kind of correlation to that, with the idea that you are going to be learning so much more, with the idea that you are going to be so much smarter, you're going to be so much stronger, you're going to be so much fitter, so much healthier, you're going to be around so much more better people, you're going to be making much more money. So what is the goal for yourself in 10 years? Where do you want to be at? Do you want that dream house? Do you want to be making X amount of money? So we've just gone through there the 5 different points. So specific, measurable, achievable, recordable, and time. And that's a great kind of criteria to set out a very good, very standard goal for any kind of time scale, and it's going to work, because all you got to do is just stick to it. But one thing I want to make very clear is, not only do you set your goal using those criteria, but set out an action step or action steps that you can do to achieve that goal. So action steps or an actionable goal, a goal that's based on action. So for my cold calling, maybe I do 100 cold calls a day. That's action based, because I can decide the amounts of action that I put in. Don't make a results based goal, because you cannot choose the results. I cannot choose to have every one of those 100 calls pick up and buy what we're selling, because that's not how it's going to work. So you pick your action based goal. So once you've done all of those specific measurable, achievable, recordable time, make sure that the goal has a way for you to achieve it, so like an obvious path almost, and it's actionable for you to start your way to get there. And the goal, make sure the goal isn't something based on a reward or something that's not guaranteed. So you can guarantee the amount of work you put in. You can just do that every day, but you can't guarantee the amount of results you get from that work. Eventually, if you're putting in a mindless amount of work, just absolutely grinding day in, day out, if you're doing that for years on end, I don't think there's any way you cannot succeed. But if you're doing it for a week and you expect there to be results, you've done probably a few days of hard work, then you've got to rethink it. You've got to realise that, oh, I wanted this amount of money by now. It's not how it works. It's you got too excited on the results when you've got to realise that the input, the effort, is going to be a lot more before you start reaching that kind of point you want. And this is a quote that I've heard a lot, and it's very, you've got to understand it, but it's nothing happens at all, and then it all happens at once. So just think about that. Nothing happens at all, and then it all happens at once. And that goes to show that you could be working for months and months and nothing. You might not get anything to show for your efforts, but you keep pushing, and then everything takes off. You sign that client, you close those cold calls, you make that deal, you get that bench press, you break through that plateau. It will take time, it will take effort, consistency, all of the above, and it will drain you and you will feel like you're not getting anywhere. But if you just keep pushing, eventually you're going to get to that point where the sticking point breaks, that barrier that you're pushing through just disappears, and everything just takes off, everything snowballs, everything launches. And it's so important that you've got to realise that. So understand that, set the right goals, make them specific, measurable, achievable, recordable, and time related, but also make them based on action and not result. Because if you get too sucked into the results of what you think you're doing, then you lose track of why you're doing it, and you lose track of the whole journey itself. Stay on task, stay focused in what you're doing. Don't get too obsessed with the future of, oh, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. Focus more on the current moment and the goals that you have set for the future. Focus more on what you can do to achieve those goals. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.